Welcome to a new fragrance review. Today we're gonna try Jaguar for men. So I'm gonna go with the presentation. The bottle, that fragrance is actually really cheap. It's the cheapest from the brand, at least the moment I've purchased it. It says that it was a green fragrance, so I decided to try it. As you can see, the way I hold it, the cap hold things into place really well. I won't shake it too much, but hold it in place. Presentation, I think it's really nice. It's not something amazing, mind-blowing stuff, but it does the job. Especially that it's a cheap fragrance. Usually they kind of cut the corner around, but here it's just great. It's just good. Anything really more interesting than this? So let's go with the smell. First note that came to my nose is grapefruit, and it's literally the last note that I would use to describe this fragrance. But at first that came is grapefruit. Become green note. You see there's a note of fern that is disclosed in the note breakdown, and I don't really know what fern specifically smell like as a perfume note, but I would say it smells like green leaves. Picking up a bit of leathery spiciness. Nothing really I can describe. Maybe nutmeg a little bit. Picking up some orange, tiny bit of bergamot. Because it's really citrusy on paper, but on my skin it's not citrusy at all. And when I look on Fragrantica, the votes are not for it to be citrusy, even though people seems to notice the citrus smell. I would say that I'm picking up a bit of thyme also. And that's it. This is what I'm picking up on my skin. How it is, it's a soapy fragrance on my skin. It's depending of the temperature, the time I'm wearing it, and how hot I am and it's outside, will be more or less soapy, but it is a soapy fragrance. It smells in the beginning a lot like fur, and it reminds me a lot of Christmas. Like right now, on paper, I don't get the Christmas vibe, but on my skin, really smell like Christmas. So much that I had it last year in Christmas. Don't know if I worn this one for like Christmas or Christmas Eve. There was another fragrance that for me it's really Christmassy, and it's One Man Show Oud Edition, but one of them was Christmas, the other was Christmas Eve, whatever. And for me it's really Christmas, especially because it smells like fur, like traditional Christmas smells like. There's just one thing that I don't like about it for Christmas time. I'm gonna say it a bit later. Other note that I'm picking up in the opening, there is some grapefruit and orange that is noticeable. There's also some spices, especially caraway, thyme, and anise, that is noticeable in the opening. Some green note, and that same green note that I would say it's kind of fern, and some basil. As it dries down, I'm picking up a bit more oak moss. Picking up oak moss in the beginning, but the fur is really stronger, so it kind of hides it more in the background. As it dries down, I'm picking up the oak moss. I'm also picking up some old school tobacco note and some old school leather note in the mix, to a point where in the heart it's really what's the most present in the fragrance, the leather and the tobacco. At that point, it were a bit more in the dry down. I'm picking up also some cedar and some patchouli. And as it dries down even more, there's more musk that I'm picking up to a point really farther in the dry down. Projection is super bad, and it's not such a big deal in the end. If I smell it, it's nice, but it's not nice because if projection is not good, it's not such a good fragrance for winter, and it makes me believe it's a Christmas fragrance, but the Christmas fragrance that you cannot smell in winter, it's not nice. So this is why I don't think it's such a good fragrance for Christmas anymore. It was pretty new when I got it around Christmas, so I didn't have time to notice this, but I did over time. I would say in summer, projection will be a bit better. Even like in this time, it will be, people would be somehow able to smell it, but you need to ask them if they smell it, and they take time to notice it. It's most likely that they won't. You need to be pretty close for them to smell it. Longevity though is really good. It's 7 to 12 hours. I would say it goes closer to the 12 hours than to the 7. And for the complete note breakdown, this one is really heavy in notes. So top notes are basil, green notes, orange, grapefruit, lavender, mandarin orange, cassia, bergamot, anise, and thyme. Heart notes are fir, carnation, nutmeg, cinnamon, sage, caraway, geranium, rose, cyclamen, jasmine, and gardenia. And the base notes are tobacco, oak moss, leather, cedar, sandalwood, patchouli, musk, fern, amber, tonka bean, and vanilla. So where I would see this fragrance, I would say that it's a Soapy fragrance, so I wouldn't see it as a business fragrance, but here into Soapy fragrance, that's the closest that it gets. For me, Soapy fragrance are more everyday scents that doesn't like have anything crazy, that's just there to be pleasing. But this one, there's a little something, the woodiness, the leather, tobacco, that makes it more manly, more powerful, more elegant. So I would say it would be a good business scent if you enjoy Soapy fragrance. If you're not into Soapy fragrance like me, good fragrance, but not as a business. As a dating fragrance, I don't think it would be really good. I mean, it smells nice and elegant, a little bit through that soapiness, but it's still a Soapy fragrance. And also, like, doesn't project, so as a clubbing fragrance, it will be horrible. In another kind of setting for a date, it's not a style that's relevant. It just smells good. That's pretty much all I have to say. It doesn't smell crazy, attractive, or something like that. It just smells good. In the summer winter spectrum, as I said before, it reminds me a lot of Christmas, the scent, but it doesn't project, so it will be more of a summer kind of fragrance. And even though it smells like Christmas, it's the fir note that reminds me of Christmas. Maybe a little bit like tobacco, oak moss, and leather kind of have a little bit of a Christmassy vibe also for me, but it's mostly the fir that does this. So fir is not Christmas note or anything. It's just my opinion. So in summer, it will be really good. And as an everyday scent, I think it will be really good. It's exactly the style of fragrance that is an everyday scent. It's soapy, it smells great. It's original for a soapy scent. So I think it really is spot on there. It's cheap, lasts the whole day, has everything. In the everyday type of fragrance, that would be easily number, like in the top 5, if I would do a top 5 of this. And where I would see it exactly as at its place would be as an everyday scent in summer. To go to the office, especially if you need to dress up, but not so much. Like just a little bit as an everyday scent in an office would be great. Personally, I like it. I'm not into soapy scent. I usually hate soapy scent, but rarely there is one that surprised me. This one is one of these. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If it's the case, well, like and share. If you tried one fragrance by Jaguar before, tell me which one and how you find it. Also, if you think there's other fragrance by Jaguar, they seem to all be soapy fragrance. If there's something that's not soapy, something maybe that smells like leather, tell me in the comments. I'm interested to find out more fragrance by that brand. So, thanks for watching, and see you soon.